Hello guys, MikuChibi here and welcome to part 3 of this series where I made a new account to see how far I can progress with it, compare how it was 5 years ago. Last time we did in part 2 we completed floor 27 and now we currently are on floor 35, which is a big jump between 27 and 35. And yeah, this boss is Stig that we're gonna fight. He does also use a lot of AoE, so you have to stay alive a lot. And if you are running floor 5 gear, let me warn you that you're gonna use a lot of potion and try to survive as much as you can. And yeah, and you might see I have a little bit struggle, but I should be fine because it went to slash, so I can use my sword build here. Hopefully I can survive a little bit. And I'm rushing also early to deal more damage, but the only thing I noticed that they made another cutscene, so yeah, I lose my rush there as well. But it should be fine, you get it back once you are returning to the battlefield again. So this big boss does spawn smaller mobs, which is really annoying. They do attack you as well, so there's a lot of resource that this boss can attack you, which kind of annoying. That's why you want to survive, and hopefully you have your burst as well, because with burst you should be able to survive a little bit, because during the burst animation all other attacks that coming out won't be affected on you, so that is really good. And yeah, this one should be fine. I did defeat it. It just took a while since a lot of AoE, and I did die sometimes, but gladly I have a rubberite crystal that I can use. The only thing I'm gonna lose is probably my rush, which is really sad, because without rush you will fight the boss a little bit longer. And yeah, and hopefully you also have some AoE, so you can group up the mobs with the boss and deal damage all together. And yeah, the only thing we have to talk about, nothing more than seeing me killing this one. And also, Stig is the last boss to drop stones for the Nox weapon series, which you make. If it drops stone, you can make your Nox series 5-star if you want to. But after floor 35, we're gonna reach floor 40, which is gonna introduce our new weapon series. So floor 40 was a big update as well. This was during the release of 3rd anniversary. 3rd anniversary was pretty big. They released floor 40, released a new skill mechanics which is called mod skills, and also they released a new weapon series, which is the lock series, which you should be aiming for if you're playing casual, or if you want to progress. Lock's weapon is really good and really decent, and they all still being useful until this day. And yeah, I might need to farm that one if I want to. Floor 61 still is my goal to reach to get my gear and stuff, so I'm gonna rock with my floor 5 gear as long as I can. But yeah, they introduced also the mod skills, and as you know, mod skills are really strong, and till this day are still really strong as well with rush. So a combination of awakening skill and rush skill in your set is really strong. Especially mod sword. Mod sword is still really strong and can help you to progress through the story. And that's why if you're rerolling, mod sword is the priority when you're rerolling, because they are easier to build. You get access to a really good mod folder when you do the realization event, and then sword has really a cheap build that you can use. And compared to other weapons, they are a little bit expensive and does require to get some limited skills or skills that rarely comes out. But yeah. So floor 40 has the boss called Warren. He does have a real nice outfit, and if you keep farming this one, you will get a really good avatar that you can use if you want to, especially the mask. I remember everyone really liked it. This was back during COVID, Everyone used the mask because it was really cool and it was related to the COVID thing, so yeah. The only thing you should watch out is his AoE. He does spam a lot of AoE and stuff, so make sure you dodge that. Those deal a lot of damage as well. But you should be fine if you have better skills and better gear than me. Yeah, because if I was able to defeat it, you should be able to defeat it as well. And of course, Warden drops the stone for the Lux weapon, and a 3-star Lux is stronger than 5-star Nox. So you can see that stats is really good. So if you casual, try to farm for Lux if you want to continue with the story. Yeah, because I still have Lux weapon on my main, and when I tried it out, it's still really useful. But if you're looking for to mid-max your damage and stuff, then the higher weapon search is mostly more worth the farm. But they also require to farm with a party. And also the Labyrinth, when you do Labyrinth farming for Lux, they do have increased the drop rate for stones for Lux weapons. So it should be easier to obtain the stones compared how it was a few years ago. So this, let's see, 3rd anniversary was released 2 years ago. So compared how it was 2 years ago, it is easier to farm Lux. So you should be happy about that if you're starting right now. And after that, all the rest of the Labyrinth, when you farm for Rosho series, Yasha series, and Gao series, they have really low drop rate, so it's gonna cost a lot of grinding. And yeah, as you can see, I still die to it, but it should be fine. We just breathe force it. Yeah. Don't worry, we have 2 more boss after this one, floor 47 and 50. You will be surprised how easy the floor 47 are compared how it is floor 40, because you can use some really cheap tricks. Also, if you somehow manage to get a stone during the story, then you can consider yourself really lucky, because you can get a stone when you complete the story. So hopefully you get one, so you can only need to buy one if you can, or even get a farm 1 more stone to craft your main weapon. So you can read this one about the Lux Integral series. They're really strong and you should be able to use it. Yeah, so after floor 40, we're gonna reach floor 47, which is one of the most beautiful floor compared to the other maps. In my opinion, floor 47 is really beautiful and I really like it, so I actually farm a lot. And when you reach late game or mid game, actually, especially mid game, you're gonna stay on floor 47 a lot for weapon XP, coal, and XP farm. Not this map, this is map 1, map 2 especially, you're gonna stay map 2 very long. But still, floor 47 is really beautiful and I really like it, and yeah. And nothing more special about that. There's just colorful, a lot of colorful, happy colorful map. And so Layla is the next boss, the butterfly. This is a really cheap trick you can do, but the first thing you need to require is try to reach a certain HP. And so you want to deal a lot of damage as soon as possible, so just make sure you don't die like me. So I couldn't rush, because with rush you should be able to reach it to half of the HP. Once you do that, it's gonna split. When it's split, you want to gather the butterfly around them together and use your strongest AoE skill to deal damage, because all those small still share the same HP. They still is a 1 bar, so you can see here. Also try to dodge a lot of these abilities, they are really annoying, so try to dodge those and just try to deal as much damage as you can. And you can see I'm using my spear. Spear has AoE, and my skills are also AoE. And now you can see the butterfly have become smaller and split. So you make sure to gather them and then use one hit. You can see the HP drop really fast and you can kill it. So it was faster than fighting the warden. So that's why I like to farm floor 47 mostly. And now this is the first time they doesn't end just defeating the boss. You're gonna have some more story into the between after completing the boss. So yeah, if you're into the story, you can read it. And for me, that have been playing a lot, that lost interest into the story, I just gonna rush it and try to defeat as soon as possible. But yeah. And this is where you interact mostly with the members of Laughing Coffins. So yeah, they're trying to make more stories, canon stories. That is not really important that much. And now, after floor 47, you're gonna see they have a filler floor. Filler floor are just one map that has a small stories, of course. So this is floor 48. This is a filler floor. Nothing really big, doesn't really connect to the main story a lot. And it is also really fast to complete as well. So that is free gems and free XP and free resource. So that's really nice. Floor 48 is just a story with Elizabeth where she unlocked her blacksmith. And they introduce awesome ingots, refining gear and stuff, which you shouldn't worry about too much. That is only for endgame players. So you can read a little bit more. I made a video guide about it. So you can check that out if you want, if you search on YouTube. So after floor 48, we have floor 50. Floor 50 is a little bit harder right now. They are way too blunt, and I don't have any blunt skill set at the moment. So yeah, so I have to stick with sword at this time. But something I really like about this, you don't need to defeat the boss. Currently I'm fighting the dungeon boss. You don't really need to defeat it, so that's really happy because it's a part of the story. The story where you defeat it a little bit, fight it a little bit, then you move on to the boss, the floor boss. So yeah, I'm really happy. Don't need to go through because this one was really annoying to fight. So I'm glad I just was able to skip it. So hopefully make sure to level up your skills to deal more damage than me. Now this boss called last number of floor 50, which is blunt and dark. This is probably most annoying boss that you can fight because it likes to stall a lot. By stall I mean you don't have the time to attack it. You have a small screen time to deal some damage. After that you can sit there and wait, look at you, and then gonna drop down in hand. You can see now I'm trying to dodge, which is annoying, and somehow that hit me. I was like really surprised and I died. So yeah, and this boss takes a lot of time to fight. I think it took me around 20-30 minutes to fight it because I did have really good skills and does have really good weapon gear and stuff. So it took a while. Also, it likes to stall, so even takes longer. You can see, once he drops his hand, you'll be able to attack. And yeah, just try to read his pattern. The only tips I can give you when it comes to fighting the boss. And try to dodge left and right, because he's gonna use a lot of AoE and stuff. And yeah, just try to be left side, right side a lot. Just to try to dodge abilities. And he does have some other abilities, but mostly you can spam those. So try to deal a lot of damage as you can. And yeah, I think if you have mod sword, you should be able to clear even faster. And also it's recommended to have fast skills, so you can deal more damage. If you have skills, you should be able to use at least 3 to 4 skills. And if you have slow skills, you are only able to use 1 to 2 skills. So yeah. So if you are like me that are running low gears and low skills that have transformed, that's gonna take a while. But I'm really happy because you don't need to actually defeat it. So you can try to reach, I think it's around 5 to 10%. When the boss reaches to that HP, they can skip that for a story. So I'm really happy I didn't need to defeat it, otherwise I will be really crazy. But yeah, floor 50 are introducing rings, which is pretty new. Back then the ring didn't exist yet. I think ring got released when floor 85 was introduced, I believe. Somewhere above floor 50 at least. So rings are really good, so I started to farm. I would say if you have good ring fodder for EX ability like Advanced Trooper 2 or Switch combination, then you can use those. So yeah, I farm a little bit rings because I'm gonna use that. Only 1 star though, I'm gonna use 1 star ring. So after floor 50, you're gonna move on to floor 55, which is another filler floor with Elizabeth again. Yes, last time we was doing the blacksmith of opening Elizabeth first blacksmith, and this is story with Elizabeth again, where we try to craft Kratos' sword with a dragon egg, I believe. So basically same as the anime where Elizabeth and Kratos was together. At this time we are the supporting character that are just interrupting Kratos and Elizabeth, I would say. And yeah, we are fighting the dragon, which is a dungeon boss, which is actually really annoying. Because it does same as last number, stalling, and when it flies you can't be able to attack it. So yeah, when it lands you'll be able to attack it. But just make sure your dodge is AoE, it does a lot of damage. And yeah, just try to stay behind it, I would say. It should be easier to attack it. Then just move on to the side and left side. And it has a break mode as well, Frost and Fire. If you don't have, just dodge it. You don't need to tank it, you can use dodge it. Or if you have burst ready, you can activate burst as well. And if you let it break and stay standing there, you will take a big number of damage. But yeah, it should be fine. At least it's easier to fight it compared to the last number. Yeah, so I'm really happy that I didn't need to go through another 20 minutes to defeat this boss. And yeah, let's see. The dungeon boss drops scrap, which is a ingot for crafting ingot. So now the question is, when do you want to focus on ingot? Well, I would say once you complete the story and have reached the beginning of the end game, then you can start thinking about the ingot. Of course, I will try to make a new guide for the ingot. If you're still looking, want to see my old guides, I do have the equipment refining guide, which you can watch about, which is still about the ingot as well, so you can stay and watch that. So after floor 55, you're gonna reach floor 61, and that is the stop point for me. And this is where I buy the weapons and gear. So new weapon, new gears. So since I'm using sword and spear, I want to focus on those first. So I'm gonna buy a new sword, a new shield, a new spear, and then also looking for to buy armor top and bottom. And this is where you want to level up everything and try to transform them to 3-star, because after floor 61 there will be no more new gears to buy. So the floor 61 is the max floor gear you can buy and get. So make sure you transform everything, and of course hopefully you've done your daily dungeon as well. Since I didn't do my daily dungeon, some of my gear is still low level. So yeah, just make sure you do your daily dungeon, or don't be like me skipping it. So through the story and try to level up at the meantime I progress through the story. I also do the daily dungeons just to get some resource to level up. So yeah, you will be back on floor 61 as well to craft your shield. Once you complete the story, you want to go back to floor 61 to craft shield, because shield gives you extra stats. You want to focus on 2 shield at least, 3 if you want to. the first shield need to be attack, triple attack. The second need to be triple defense, and the third one is optional, would you need triple HP if you want to. But yeah, so try to level up as much as I can, and later on you're gonna drop the floor 61 and focus on chaos armor and higher weapon series. So you see me, I do level up everything, try to level up my skills, because this is my final build, need to transform them for the extra percentage multiplier damage. Focus on your passive first, of course, then you can focus on the active skills. And yeah, this is where also I try to awaken level my Yui, which didn't go that well. So yeah, you might also consider using other weapon if you want to. Unlike me, I don't really care that much. And yeah, and you see I trying to level up, not really success to level up being Yui. Just be careful, don't use too much, because it's really hard to farm these materials if you're not grinding, and if you aren't casual. If you're casual, then it's gonna be hard, so don't waste too much. So this is the end of part 3 of the series, and you can see this is my setup for my stuff, which is gonna be used to complete floor 61. So hopefully you guys enjoy part 3 of the series, and part 4 is coming soon as well, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care now, and bye bye.